I talk a lot about how much I love living in Georgia, and I truly do. But just like any other state, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Hi, I'm Ashley Lazarian, a realtor here in Atlanta selling the suburbs for the past 18 years. And I was born and raised here. Georgia, for the most part, has pretty moderate weather. Just like a lot of states, we have a cold season, a hot season, some rainy seasons. And just like some states you hear of, they have earthquakes like in California, or the Midwest is known for tornadoes. Georgia does get some tornadoes. Most of the time that happens between January and May, because one of the crazy things about the weather here that absolutely makes me nuts is that from like January, February, all the way to like April, May, you're never really sure if you need a jacket, if you don't need a jacket, if you should bring a winter coat, if you should be in short sleeves, because the weather is crazy. It's cold one day, it's warm the next, it's cold in the morning, like 40 degrees, and then by the afternoon it's 80. So you start out in a parka and you end up in flip-flops and shorts. So all of that cold and hot weather mixing together can sometimes create the perfect storm. Thankfully, it's not something that happens all the time. Now, we do get high winds and thunderstorms quite often, so you have to be ready and willing to take that on. Another thing about Georgia is the heat. So when we finally do get our warm weather for the summer, it's intense. From about 7 a.m. in the morning till 7 a.m. the next morning, it's hot. And I know that there are places like Texas I visited where they have very dry heat, which is a completely different kind of heat. Here in Georgia, you have to not only be ready for the heat, but you have to be ready for the humidity. You feel very wet. When you sweat, your clothes are clung to you and just stuck. And you feel like as soon as you walked to your car from your front door, you need another shower. If you decide to make the move here, one of the things that you're going to have to get used to involving the weather is the Weather Channel. Now, our local news media has this habit of blowing things so big that you think the upcoming winds are going to just completely blow everything into an oblivion, or the upcoming snowstorm is going to just completely cover everything in 10 feet of snow, and you better get to the grocery store and get your milk and bread, because without milk and bread, you'll die. Now, I can't say that we haven't had situations where the city did shut down because of snow, but that was because none of us are prepared for when we actually do get snow, because it doesn't happen very often. But when we get snow, we tend to get like a dusting, and then the following day it's ice, which is no fun for anyone. For those of you that have just moved here to Georgia or possibly are visiting, you're probably noticing that the pollen here is thick as blankets. And no, you never get used to it. All the beautiful trees we have here come with a price. In spring, pollen from the trees starts roughly between January and April based on the climate. And some of the trees here, we have elm, pine, birch, hickory, poplar, just to name a few. Now, that whole saying of April showers bring May flowers, that's very true. And anytime that it rains in April, most people are actually really excited because it's going to wash away a lot of the pollen. But I promise you, it comes back within a couple of days. And I'm one of those people that I've been born and raised here. However, my allergies have never gotten accustomed to being here. I am a Flonase girl, and I have to, every January or February, start on my routine. Otherwise, by the time pollen season comes, I'm dying. My eyes are bloodshot, they're all puffy, my nose is running. I'm like, it's not a becoming look. Another thing that drives me crazy about Atlanta is the traffic. It just seems never ending. Currently, there are roughly 10.95 million people that live in Georgia. And of that, over 6 million people live in metropolitan Atlanta. There are a few main highways that run into the city from the suburbs. There's Georgia 400, Highway 85, I-75. So I-75 actually brings you down coming from Tennessee. It's gonna bring you through the west side of Georgia, coming through Kennesaw, Ackworth, Cobb County, Marietta, and straight down into the city. Then you've got Highway 400, which is gonna be bringing you down from the North Georgia mountains, coming through Dahlonega, Dawsonville, down through Alpharetta, Roswell, Buckhead, and straight into Atlanta. Then if you come over to the east side, you've got Highway 85 and 985. 985 actually is gonna merge into Highway 85. 85 is bringing you in from Anderson, South Carolina, and just the Carolinas in general, bringing you down through Brazelton, Flowery Branch, Swanee, and down straight into the city. Now, all three of these highways at some point are going to intersect, maybe not even once, but twice, with Interstate 285. 285 is literally a big circle around the city of Atlanta. It was created for the purpose of letting tractor trailers go around the city instead of through the city to eliminate traffic. However, this is probably the worst one of all. I promise to God they have been working on it for over a decade, and I feel like they will really never end working on it. I'm not sure if it's just a way to keep people busy, or I really think it's the fact of they're trying to constantly keep up with the influx of people that are moving here, and the infrastructure was just not prepared for the influx of people that we have had over the past couple of years. So they're trying to just constantly add. Talking about the traffic and the influx of people, one of the things about Georgia that a lot of people don't realize is we have really poor public transportation. So if you're coming from New York or California, where you're used to being able to walk places or take the subway or, jump on a bus, that's not a really easy thing to do here. We have MARTA, which has buses as well as the railway. However, it's only really accessible if you're in town. When you come out to the suburbs, Gwinnett County does have Gwinnett Transit. Your only real option is to phone a friend or call an Uber. If you feel like you can handle pollen season and traffic, then I assure you, you could live in Georgia no problem. This is kind of an overview of things that I think is important for you to know if you're considering making a move to Georgia, because just like every state, there's gonna be pros and cons, and I feel like you need to know everything so that you can make the most educated decision and what's best for you and your family. We have an ever-growing economy, beautiful landscaping, and I truly do love living here. If you still love the thought of living in Georgia, then make sure you subscribe to this channel, because every week I share different things in different places all about living in the great state of Georgia. And if you're thinking of buying or selling your home here and want to work with me, my information is right below. I would love the opportunity to help you. I hope this information was helpful. I'll see you guys next week.